Hi everyone, welcome to the next video in this Fun with Flowers series from Summer Nights by Hanna Karlzon. I completely forgot which book it was there. We're going to be doing this one here today. Now we've done obviously a purpley pink and a yellow sunflower. This one I'm not really sure what colour it should be. I can't really identify what flower. It could be something like a bluebell, I suppose, but I think I'm going to do it in a sort of reddish pinkish tone. You'll see. Now I rather like using this sort of Faber Castell Polychromos, the sort of Venetian reds, Pompeian reds, those tones is what I'm going to be using. I'm going to start off with something a little bit lighter. Ooh, while the pencils roll away. I'm actually going to start with this, which is called Dark Flesh, or it's been renamed Salmon. I'm going to use that as a base colour and then use those darker ones to put a bit of shadow into the plants. So I'm just going to start colouring these, all the petals with this one as a sort of base. And while I'm colouring it, I'm just going to sharpen it. The other pencils are resting there, so I sharpen them. While I'm colouring, I'm looking at where it might be lighter and darker. So I'll talk you through this a little bit. See, down here it's going to be shaded and shadowed, but here we're right, the light's going to be catching here if we think the light's coming down from above, which is how I always colour. Unless there's like a lamp, candle, sun, something like that in the picture. Obviously this is quite a sort of random picture of just odd flowers, not odd, peculiar, but oh goodness, it's very early in the morning, so we don't have a light source as such, so I just always assume it's from the top. It makes it a lot easier for me, but when I'm colouring metallics I always assume it's coming straight towards the paper. Again, it's probably not quite the right way to do it, but it just works for me and it keeps it simple. And I don't like to overcomplicate things really when I'm colouring. Yeah, it's very early, it's 8 o'clock. It's quite good this morning. Husband is working from home today. He very rarely does, but he is today. And so he's got straight on with work. So usually I don't start recording until he's left, so that I can say goodbye to him and make sure he's got everything he needs, but I don't have to do that today. So we got up early because obviously he's actually got a lot on, and it was basically, if I work from home I can work through my travel time sort of thing, you know, so he's got started right away, and that's great. One of my sons is up, he's just finished breakfast, so I'm hoping he's getting on with his work. What I've done, because I am absolutely snowed under at the moment with various things to do, I've sent him I'm grabbing the Venetian red and I'm going to do the insides with this, and you can see where Hannah's drawn these dots. Those I think are indicating it's going to be darker, so I'm going to layer it up more here and less here. I'm going to sharpen it first. Yeah, so he's one son's up, he needs to get on with his essay, Venetian red, but I sent him a list of chores to do if he's not working, because I've got a lot to do today, and this is part of it. Yeah, but that's okay. I enjoy doing this, but I wanted to get some done before the sun moves round onto the recording desk, partly as well. But I've got to go out later. I've got to buy some cardboard backed envelopes for my husband's bookmarks that he's selling in his Ko-fi shop. That's not really quite dark enough for my liking, but I'm going to leave it like that for now and move on to these. Yeah, so he sold a couple of sets, and so we've used all the envelopes we've got, so I'm going to buy a handful more. So I need to do that and buy some vitamins and things. And so I've got to do that. I've got to do some household financy stuff. That's exciting. And see, I think that's the inside, so I'm going to use this colour here. I'm going to fade that off a bit sooner because I think maybe that tip might be slightly darker because it's a little bit lower. I don't know how easy it is to see. Now this is the inside, and so's this, and so's this. So let's do this in this colour, but a bit lighter on the top again where the light's going to be. Now this one is sideways, which is tricky. So will it be darker here and a bit lighter there, like that? And this one, I'm thinking darker in there and lighter there. There we go. Oh, we didn't do this one. So yeah, but it's really sunny at the minute, but apparently it's going to rain later. So I probably should be thinking of going out early, but it's too early, nothing will be open. Pompeian red. And I'm going to do the outsides with this. Now I'm sort of looking at these lines and thinking about, you know, the petal is bent. So here, look, we can see that in there, there's probably shadow along there. And maybe under here and up here. And then, of course, under this petal. Now I might redo these shadows in a grey later, like I did on the sunflower. But I'm just getting the basics down to start with. And thinking about where it might all be. And then I can layer up. The joy with the Polychromos is that you can layer it all up bit by bit. And this paper is very forgiving. It's fairly toothy, so meaning that you can fit lots of layers on. Just heard the strangest noise. Anyway, I'm sure it's fine. It sounded like a big slump, like it's a good word, isn't it? Like snow falling off a roof or something like that. Now the outsides of these petals, I want to go back over with the salmon dark flesh to just make them a little more intense, and it might mean that those darker areas don't show up as much, but I just feel like it needs to be a little bit less pale. And we're definitely going to grab a much darker colour to do a bit more. So I think the burnt carmine works quite well with these tones. I'm just going to give it a sharpen. Everything needs sharpening this morning. Here we go. Burnt carmine. Now let's just start at the top of this one. So I'm thinking right down here, let's get a bit more intensity of colour in there. Now don't press too hard with this, just gently build up the layers of colour until it looks how you want it. That's nice. And then in here, now where the dots are, as I said before. Whoops. I've just remembered I have forgotten again to take my meds. I've been feeling very sinusy, for want of a better word. I'm going in under here. I've had headache and sinus pain, earache, and all that sort of thing. And I've got some nasal spray which helps my breathing. And I was struggling last night, and I've forgotten to take it. It's stupid. I need to do it, but I will do it after this. There we go. Now with this one, the same sort of thing. So looking at where it's going to be shadowy here. And here where these dots are. I'm just doing it ever so gently to just blend it in with what's there. I don't want a big, like that hasn't blended very well. I don't want a big dark area. I just want a slightly darker bit. I am going to draw in a more defined shadow in a minute. Yeah, my other son's still in bed, but he's always really good at getting on with his work and helpful. When he's not in the mood for working, he helps me with my jobs. So but he knows he's got a lot to do, so I think he's getting on. He procrastinates a little bit, but not much. I'm going to grab the dark sepia and do some defined shadows. Now I want to keep these smaller and more controlled, I suppose is the word. So just a little bit in here, just along the line here. If you make them a little bit more defined and smaller, I feel it helps the three-dimensional look a little bit better. Let's have a look in the camera. I think we need a bit along there. Same here. Now, I'm trying to think now, while I'm just finishing this off, as to what to do with the little, these salmon. That's what they're called. Let's have a look. I need to blow my nose, sorry. I quite like the idea of doing them a yellowy colour, but I think got our yellow sunflower right next door, so maybe we should do it in a, now I was thinking purple, but it doesn't really go with this colour. Let's start with a green gold and do a base, and then we might put some other colours on it, see how it looks. Put you back in the middle. So, yeah, I'm going to grab the burnt sienna and do a little bit on. I'm wondering whether to do some dots, because like sort of seeds, whether it'll show up. I'm going to give it a go. You could use a pen for this, but I think the pencil will work. I don't have, as far as I'm aware, I don't have this colour in a pen. So let's do it in a pencil. Oh, I quite like that. I don't know how well you can see, but anyway, just dots like seeds. Now we have our stem. Now I think a more olivey green might go better with these than other shades of green. I am going to start with the May green, just sharpen and then do a layer, just like we did for our petals. So a light layer, and then we're going to go over it with some darker colours. So, oops, here is the May green. Let me just go over it gently. Now, I know that quite a few of you may not have Hannah's books. They are quite daunting, some pages. I mean, the page next to this one is scaring me just looking at it, to be honest. I know I'll do it, but yeah, some of the pages are very detailed. Got a lot of people, which is something that isn't always easy to colour, and things like that. But I sort of got used to it, you know. I just really wanted one because they're so pretty, and then I just learnt. It just took me time. Now I'm going to go a few tones darker and use the permanent green olive, because I think that looks a little bit wishy-washy and dull. So the permanent green olive is a nice intense colour, and I'm going to take each little piece and think about where it's going to be darkest. So in it here, look, dark, and then fade it up a little bit on that tip, and then just leave that top bit light. It looks much better, I think. I'll do the same with this one, so a little bit darker here near the ends of the leaves. Leave it a bit brighter on the top. Now this one is bent quite low, so it's just going to be a dark area there. Now let's do this rounded piece underneath. I think it'll be quite dark actually. I'm not going to leave that much light, just in the middle, give it a bit of shape. My desk is creaking. There we go. Now we'll do these bits on this one as well. So we'll leave a bit there, a bit lighter. Here again, do both ends, leave the centre bit a little bit lighter. Here there's going to be this top tip, that's the lightest, and then here darkest at the bottom. Excuse me. Now this stem, I think we'll just make it light somewhere near the centre like that, as if that bit's catching. I think that's quite good. And then this stem in a similar fashion. This one dark here, a bit lighter on this bit here, and so darker again down here. Fade it up. And if you slowly reduce the layers, it just blends nicely into the colour underneath without you having to worry too much. And just a bit on the tip there. That should probably have been left light. I probably done that a bit wrong, but never mind. Now I am just going to get an even darker colour. I think I'm going to use the chromium green opaque just to add a few final shadowy touches, and I may need the sepia but I may not. Sorry, I've got a bit of a frog. So I'm just going in the really dark bits, so where the leaves come right in contact with the petal there, and any sort of shadowy bits down here that will be all shadowy in there. Oh, we didn't do a bit under there. I think I am just going to grab the sepia and go over those a little bit more. I'm being really fussy now. Just really dark in there. I've got to go in a minute, have a good cough. And I'll go and take my nasal spray. I might feel a bit less hoarse. There we go. I'm going to leave it there and not fiddle anymore. So there is our third flower. That was fun. I hope you enjoyed. Even if you weren't colouring along, of course you can always use this colour scheme. Let's straighten you up a bit. There we go. In a different book with a different flower. Anyway, I'm going to go and get rid of this horse throat. And I'll be back in a bit. But thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a super day and happy colouring.